So I've read few books, and today I want to explain all the three random things that I've learned today. The first one is the benefits of public speakers, what the perks that they've been enjoying. The second one, I want to talk about 3R. This is the tool or framework to use when we are giving statistic information to audience. And the third one is I want to talk about 4 cardinal rules in preparation before we're speaking in the public. First is about benefits of public speaker. I started to be interested in learning to become a public speaker, but I'm at the stage where it's really far to go from the way I am now to actually making money when speaking. In that book, I also learned about the stages of public speakers and the general benefit of people who are make a living by speaking is they can travel overseas for free. They can travel for free. They can the training or the session where this guy need to speak, usually it's only one day, and then you have the whole next week to go for vacation to enjoy it. And before that, for example, your flight ticket, your hotel, it all can be claimed with your client. So that's amazing. And when I learned about that, it's also something that I want to be able to travel overseas. But if it's fully sponsored, then it's much better. That's why from now on, I really want to improve my communication skills, my presentation skills. I want to become much more effective speaker. And one action that I've take starting this month, which is joining Toastmaster. So I joined that to speak in public and then to become effective especially in impromptu speaking, where I don't prepare for it, but I have to give it a go. And what I've learned in that book also, it talks about people don't really notice it when you're talking. If you're confident, if you trust yourself, it seems like you're really aware, or you know what you're talking about. Second is 3R. When we give statistic is such a strong statement, strong data, strong information. The moment we mention it, if we mention it correct way, it can support our arguments, and people will convince that the idea that we've given them is something that is accurate, something that is true. So the first R is reduce. We don't want to give too much of a statistic. Instead, choose which one is much more strong. Pick the strong one. For example, 70% cannot buy their homes in whatever country. We choose this one instead of 30% can only buy. Imagine that. And also, don't give two statistic. We can only give one to make it much more powerful when it's only one, and choose the strongest one. The second R is round off. Round off is basically if it's 26,100 or 12, you round off to 25,000. When you do this way, people will, it will be much more memorable point. And also, if The other way that helps is we're not stating the long numbers. Instead, what we can do is use the fraction that we can count using our fingers, because that's much more memorable and people can understand it right away. For example, if you give also the numbers for in example here, 1 billion money of debt. When people heard it, they think like 1 billion, they cannot relate to it, they cannot imagine what it's like. So this public speaker said something like 1 billion is, for example, you put 1 billion on the ground and then we go to the moon. So that's how much the money is. So when we do it this way, we can see now what is the we can imagine the enormous amount of that money. And back to using our finger, for example, if it's 20%, say 2/5, 2 out of 5. If it's 3 out of 10, we say 3/10, 3 out of 10. We do it this way. People can understand better. And the two one is relay is actually the example I've given before. It's about that, or that money of the scale. So to relate is to make sure that people can relate to that statistic. There's also one more example. So this lecturer in the hall asked their students in front of him, a lot of students, to look to their left and then pause and take a look to their right. So after students do that, and he said, so one of person that you're seeing right now, when you look to the left and right, will not be coming back to this university. So that's how to make it relatable. So that's it for 3R. The third is about 4 cardinal rules when we're about to be speaking. First of all is to eat, because when we eat, we give ourselves an energy. If we don't have energy, then it's difficult to be enthusiastic, to be passionate about what you're trying to say. So that's important. It doesn't have to be big meals. We can eat a small meals and add it up a bit. It's like fueling your car when you want to go a long distance. The second one is sleep. Sleep is very important. It's where our brains heals and our system also heals. It's a good reset that we can start afresh in the morning. The third one is breathe. Breathing is very important. Make sure that we don't do shallow breathing where we breathe only to the chest. We want to breathe until it reaches our stomach. It's belly breathing, people call it. So as you inhale, if your stomach is coming out, then it's a good sign that you're doing deep breathing. And also when you're doing inhale, try to hold it for a few seconds and exhale it. When we do that, we actually give our brain more oxygen. So when we have more oxygen up there, we can think much more clearly and more sharply. And the fourth one is to be present, to be in the moment. Meditation also helps, because when we do meditation, we can be aware effectively on what is the intrusive thoughts. When we go day by day, sometimes we cannot notice it, but meditation can help. 5 minutes, and it can give you a big impact, and it's worth it. That's it that I want to talk about today. The 3 random things I've learned this morning when I read a few books. The first one is about the benefit of public speaker and why I think it's amazing, and it's also a motivation for me to strive for it. The second one is when we're giving statistic, we're using framework 3R, which is reduce, round off, and relate. The third one is the 4 cardinal rules when we're about to be speaking in public. It's a good way to make a checklist of it, to tick it off before we're giving an important presentation to effectively present or help people out there. Thank you.